welcome to Max Bet Motors. I'm Jared, and this is the 2024 KTM Adventure R Rally. Let's get into it. I feel so fortunate to have this bike. I think for 2024, the middleweight section just has some incredible stuff coming out, but the 2024 KTM 890 Adventure R Rally, I think, is sort of the king of the hill of these bikes coming out. So wanted to shoot a few videos that we're going to drop over the next few weeks. First, I want to talk about just the differences between the standard 890 AR, from cost to just different parts, why it is what it is. Second, we'll shoot one on some modifications that I've already done, as well as some stuff that I have planned. And then third, we're going to talk about sort of the dreaded reliability issues, how that affected me, and then the overlooming issue of the demo mode and the tech pack. So here we go. So first off, let's just talk about price. The standard 890 Adventure R, and I'm going to use some ballpark figures here, so don't come at me in the comments, but as far as on the website, it's $15,900. You're going to pay about $600 in freight, depending on what your dealer charges you and overall fees. And then if you get the tech pack, it's another $800. So let's call that bike about $17,300 out the door. The Rally version was $21,500. It came with the tech pack, and it was $600 for freight. So we've got about $5,000 between the differences of those two bikes. The first thing that is different is just the exclusivity. Jury's out on this one a little bit, but a lot of us are hearing that 200 of these bikes came to the U.S. and 500 went to the rest of the world. So you're already, if you see one of these things out on the road, it's going to be amazing here in the States because there's not that many of them. So that's some of the main differences in the price. And now I can show you sort of what you get for that and why it was a good deal for me. Okay, so I'm a pretty hardcore off-road rider, and so if you follow the channel at all, you know that I came from a Tiger 900 Rally Pro. That bike was amazing. I'm a big James Bond fan, so I loved owning it, but it was not enough for me off-road. I needed a variant that could put up with the abuse that I was doing. So two of the things that really make this bike different right off the rip is going to be the DID Dirt Star wheels. On the front, this is going to be a 2.5-inch wheel, and on the back, it's going to be a 4.15-inch. They are narrower, and so for tracking uphill, you've got a lot more a nimble nature and how these things are going to operate, as well as you've got some different tire choices that you can put on. They are tubed, and they're a lot heavier duty than the standard 890R wheels that you're going to get. So depending on how you're looking at those and if that's valuable to you, that's about $2,000. The next thing is going to be the suspension. WP already, who's owned by KTM, is going to be the best in the business. A standard 890 AR, that suspension's probably going to cost you about $2,800 or so for the XP Explorer fork. And it's amazing. I mean, for most of us, it would be that great already. $2,800. Then you step up to the WP Pro suspension, and this is going to be about $7,000. It is the crown jewel of this bike. There is no describing what this feels like when you're driving on and off the road. You are floating over things, you track better, and I've heard a lot of people in the past say, you're not even going to be able to know the difference. You will know the difference no matter how good of a rider you are, and so that right out the gate is already going to make this thing worth a lot more money. So another note on the suspension that we were just talking about is over the standard 890 AR, this bike is 1.2 inches taller. I'm 6'2". that bike was already tall for me. So everyone's going to want to know what's the riding position of this bike. And I can barely flat foot on a standard 890 Adventure R. This thing right here, there's no way with both feet down that I can actually do that. Kind of just move over and it's pretty easy to do. I was on a ride last weekend in Arkansas, and it's definitely something to think about. Like, as I'm choosing my lines, there was some times where I'm putting my foot down. I'm like, I don't have the normal stability that I usually have. So hopefully that helps you see. This also has the rally seat on it, so it is a little taller too. But this bike is tall. Being 6'2", it's pushing my limits. So moving on to the middle of this bike, you can't help but notice the color scheme is just amazing. So the standard 890 AR, blue, white with some orange hits. It's beautiful. It's a great looking bike. This was a little nervous that it was going to be a lot of orange when it came in, but it's a really rich looking orange. It's very vibrant, but yet deep at the same time. It doesn't look like just a cheap plastic. I loved the fact that on the gas tank here, they split this and turned this into a two-tone gas tank. It did come with the KTM Power Parts rally seat. I like that, you know, for moving around off-road, it's a lot easier. It is tall, but it works great. It came with the Power Parts rally pegs as well. A couple $100 for those. The master cylinder guard. And then honestly for me was the acropovic pipe. I was going to put this pipe on the bike anyways. And for about $1,100, it's an expensive piece of kit, but it winds up looking awesome. Then there's a few things over here we'll check out and move on from there. So the last two things I'll show you over here is going to be the Super Sprox rear sprocket, as well as the Power Parts side stand enlarger. That thing's really nice if you're riding in like sand or a lot of loose terrain. But honestly, for me, this bike, being that it was about $5,000 more, depending on how you want to look at things like the wheels, you're already about $2,000 to $4,000 plus, even without talking about the suspension, which I love. And so for me, it was very well worth the money. So what are the main differences between the 2023 and the 2024 version bike? Well, if you followed this platform at all from the 790 on up, 2022 was probably the last version before like what felt like a ground up redo of this bike. 2023 came out, you got full new fairing style, you got updated TFT, some really cool additions on that. So there's not too many changes between 23 and 24. There is one big one though, and that's the O2 sensor down here on the cat. They added a third one, so for all of us who are wanting to decat this bike and put on a mid pipes, we cannot do that until they come out with a new variant. There's a few companies on it, Rottweiler, Arrow, they're already working on the fix, but that's a big deal for us, and it really kind of sucks. So I'm not sure if this is a difference between the 23 and the 24, or if it started in 23, but thanks so much to Chris Birch for pointing this out. It's a good tip either way. When you're in rally mode and you know you can set your different traction control, with the throttle closed, if you come over and you hold this down for a few seconds, you can actually fully turn off your traction control, which is amazing. So if you get stuck in the sand and you need to dump your clutch and get out with no traction control, that's the way to do it. Then all you have to do is just press the up button and get right back in it. Such a handy tip. So some final thoughts for me regarding the Rally Edition. I'm so excited to have this bike. My journey off-road started with a KTM 390 Adventure a few years ago, went to the Tiger platform, but I've been watching this platform for a while. And I love having something that's limited edition, and I love having something that's just, in my opinion, the apex predator in this motorcycle class, which is what this bike is. So I'm going to be shooting some great videos on it. Thanks for checking it out.